Hey guys, welcome back to One All's Pub. On the bar top in front of you today, you see a Chris Reeve Sebenza. This is my large 21 Insingo. This video is kind of a VR to toadstkr Sebenza 21 follow-up that he posted, I think yesterday. In it, he went over how well his 21, he's got the clip point version, performed at his work, doing some carpet cutting and just general box and cardboard and package opening and whatnot. And it kind of inspired me to go ahead and get off my butt and do some cardboard cutting testing that I had been planning on doing with this guy for a while. So I did that today, grabbed a bunch of cardboard boxes, headed out to my recycle bin / trash can, and went to work for about 20-30 minutes cutting cardboard. If you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen the results of this, and you might already know the information. But if you don't, first of all, if you don't and you are on Instagram, please do follow me. It's One All's Pub, all one word. And if you're just not on Instagram and don't really care for it, then that's fine. Yeah, you're going to find out now. Anyway, so what I did, well, let me talk about the edge first here. This is not the factory edge on this knife. I did this kind of same more or less test with the 0 tolerance and 0566, but I did that with the factory edge because I wanted to see what the LMAX would be like, what the factory edge was like, and then after I resharpened it and whatnot. This I've actually have owned for quite a while and have put my own edge on it, and I've sharpened it a couple of times. It's in its latest iteration, it has been reprofiled down to 17 degrees per side on the wicked edge to a near mirror polished finish. If I can get the camera to play along here. Come on, focus. Come on, iPhone. I really need to get some better camera. Anywho, you can see there, got some nice mirror polish to it. Like I said, 17 degrees per side, no micro bevel. And I really kind of expected, with doing this, that I would end up with some rolls. I didn't really expect any chips, at least I was hoping not. I did expect to get some rolls in it, just because of the nature of S35. It's kind of engineered to roll and not chip, and so I kind of figured I would maybe get some rolls, pushing it through all that cardboard. And it was, and I did most of the cardboard cutting against the cardboard grain, probably 3/4 of it through the grain, as opposed to with the grain. So I definitely didn't baby it. By the way, I apologize for the 60 cycle hum you hear in the background. It's a grumpy old kegerator again, going through one of its semi-routine grumpy moments where it just hums and grinds, whatever. It's an old fridge that we converted, and kind of like an old woman, just decides to be grumpy sometimes, or an old man. Don't mean that to be a sexist comment. Anyway, back to the Sebenza here. So it didn't suffer any of the rolls or anything. It really did really well. The edge held up fantastically. I did 400 plus cuts with this. Probably around 420 or 430. I kind of lost track in the middle and kind of went back to where I last kind of knew I really was. So I probably am 20 or 30 over 400 if I was to be totally honest. So 400 plus, we'll just call it. And it performed admirably. As you can tell, the edge did not degrade. It cut and sliced through the whole thing the whole time. Ergonomically, this knife, you know, the Sebenza is a very straight knife, the handle is, and I'm used to kind of more ergonomic and organic shaped handles, like you see on a lot of modern folders. This kind of seems, in many ways, real linear and kind of angular and blocky, like it isn't as comfortable. When you first put it in your hand, you think, boy, I wonder what that's going to feel like cutting. But after 20 or 30 minutes of cutting with this thing, I got to say, ergonomics on it are outstanding. Not a hot spot to be found. Never got any hand fatigue other than just the normal fatigue you'd get from doing any large amount of cutting. And I was probably halfway or more through this when I realized that I didn't realize that the grip was a problem. I was just cutting away. I'm like, about halfway into it, I'm like, man, I just realized I haven't anything to complain about yet, or haven't, my hand hasn't protested one bit. And just really excellent ergonomics. Cutting performance in general on the hollow grind, of course, just beautiful. And when I did in some of the cuts get up on these shoulders, and you could feel those shoulders catch, so you get your typical hollow grind but characteristic, let's call it, where the shoulders will catch if you're getting deep into some media, and the cardboard, it'd be passing through 6-8 inches of cardboard, so I'd have the whole blade traveling through, and I could feel it catch on there sometimes, especially if I was cutting through. Maybe some of those, the cuts even were double layered cardboard where it was folded over on top of each other, and I was just cutting through there, and sometimes that would catch and you'd feel that hit those shoulders. But not bad at all. I mean, I love hollow grinds, and there's nothing to complain about here. And it did extremely well. And man, this thing, even as I was finishing up 300, 400 cuts, this thing on a nice straight piece of cardboard at the right angle was just gliding through it. Initial sharpness, for the first 10 or so cuts was just blazing amazing. And then it settled into a good working edge and pretty much stayed that way for the rest of the time doing it. So, kind of the $64,000 question here is, how did it hold up edgewise? We know that the edge didn't suffer any damage, but cutting performance, what's it like now? It's still decent. It's very decent, actually. I'm very impressed. I'm going to go ahead and get some phone book paper out here and we'll test it. I'm going to move the camera down here onto a chair here next to me, onto a little stool next to me, so I can get a little bit better angle at it. Again, as I've said in the past, doing paper cutting up here is kind of difficult because I do these on top of the bar, and it's really right at sternum level, and my arms are straight out in front of me, and with the camera and the tripod and everything in front of me, it does not make for optimal angles for doing cutting. I don't want that to detract from the knife's cutting ability now. My poor skill there behind this tripod. So I'm going to go ahead and move it down, kind of like I did if you watched my ZT0566 test. When I did this, I moved everything down like this as well. So I'll go ahead and do that. Here's some paper. Go ahead and move this guy down here. Alright. That is the floor of One Ounce Pub. There's a light there. You can see the floor there. Alright, can you see that? Yeah. Okay, we're good. Alright, so 400 plus cuts. Will it still cut phone book paper? Well, let's see. What do you think? But I thought S35VN, especially Chris Reeve's S35, was supposed to be kind of soft and crappy. Well, I don't know. It seems to be pretty decent to me. That was kind of a tear. Again, is it as great as it was fresh off the wicked edge? No. But is it still plenty dang sharp? After 400 cuts through cardboard? Yeah, it's plenty dang sharp. Indeed. Let's move you back up to the bar top here. So, S35VN by Chris Reeve. I tell you, I give it a pretty good verdict, or it gets a pretty good verdict from me. It's kind of a controversial steel, when CRK went to this back in 2011. There was some issues with it, it appears. There were some videos posted on YouTube and on the forums and discussions on the forums about some what appeared to be legitimate problems. I would say that whatever those problems were, whether they were heat treat issues or tempering issues or whatever, Chris Reeve has resolved it, because this particular blade steel here on this knife, this is built in 2013, born on in 2013. Absolutely love it. No complaints about the performance of this at all. S35VN, great, really. Can't deny it. At least not in my testing. So that's 1 All's 2 cents. Keep the change. Sláinte.